Hey guys, welcome to the Self-Evident Podcast. You got Mike, you got Massey. We decided to go live because I wanted you to see that face. Drink it in, folks. Ladies, he's taking them. Sorry. We should just do a live stream roll 24/7 live streaming of that face.
What we can do is like record 10 minutes and just loop it.
Exactly. And we'll run that channel for months. It would probably blow up. It'd probably be viral.
It's not just information we're here, folks. It's entertainment.
We're here to look good for you. Oh, he's got the face again, Elijah. We got to turn you around so you can face us.
It's entertainment.
Don't you love the entertainment?
Don't you love it?
Don't you know?
Don't you?
Okay, go ahead. Gary, that's my favorite face. Go ahead, comment where you're from, how you're doing, how's the life. You know, there's not much going on in the news today, so we just thought we'd sit and talk to you guys a little bit.
Not even so much the news. Shoot. It's like our government's pretty much decided that they're rulers and they're no longer representatives. And I think that's where we are asking the Lord a lot. Lord, what's the answer here? Like, what are some of the answers, and how do we take territory in this? And today's a little bit more serious. Listen. Just before we get started here, this is not a defense of President Trump. I'm not defending anything about Trump or anything like that. Here's what I'm defending: your rights, because it's President Trump first, but then you bring on 87,000 new IRS agents. It's going to be you next if we don't stop this crap. And it's going to take a new resistance. It's going to take us standing against it. I think what's unique about all this is even COVID really taught us something, how the federal government can just come in and say, close your doors, wear your masks, don't come out of your house for 2 weeks, that kind of thing. And them raiding a former president's house, which is seriously unprecedented, shows you what lengths they're willing to go to destroy their own opposition. I'm not against President Trump. We're not against President Trump. This is not a defense of President Trump. This is a defense on liberty. And we're taking an offensive stance on what liberty should be.
Right. Let's get into this. Let's go ahead and get the facts. You've probably heard, you probably know most of the facts, so we're not going to spend too much time on this, but we want you to get up to speed just in case you may have missed something. So where are we? Monday, the FBI raided or executed a search warrant.
According to the media, they searched.
Yes, which we'll get into that because MSNBC and CNN. MSNBC on air changed it, because I guess FBI agents were complaining, it's not a raid, it's executing a search warrant. So MSNBC changed it.
And that's the same as calling the riots peaceful protests.
Yes,
that's
peaceful
right. That's right.
Peaceful protests as the buildings are burning behind them.
COVID didn't transmit through those protests.
No, those were actually reducing COVID rates. Did you know that? Some came out and said, no, these actually reduce COVID. But the biker rally, super spreader. Churches, super spreader. Trump rally, super spreader.
All right, this comes out of the federal government, and
yes, this is your government at work, your tax dollars, which we've now hired 87,000 extra IRS agents to help fund this.
I can't remember what Ronald Reagan said. What is it, like the scariest words government can say? It's like,
I don't remember.
I can't remember the quote, but I'll get it in a minute.
Okay. All right. So the FBI were plainclothed.
Oh, we're the government. We're here to help.
Yeah. Thomas Sowell said there's nothing more permanent than a temporary government program. These type of quotes, we need to make a book out of.
I know, dude.
So FBI were plainclothed. Presumably, this was not alert security at Mar-a-Lago of what's going on. They let the Secret Service detail they notified him immediately before the raid. 3 of Trump's lawyers rushed over to the scene. Trump had a safe in the house. It was cracked. The cause of the warrant is supposedly because National Archives claims Trump still holds classified documents in his possession. There's been a back and forth between Trump's lawyers and the government about getting 15 boxes worth of files back. That's the basic of this right now. Now, there are early reports of cheers in the West Wing over the whole issue, despite the White House coming out and saying, well, we didn't have any clue about this. We didn't know. And I want to stick on that point because, Massey, I want to converse with you on this whole point for a second. You and I were talking about this yesterday. White House comes out and says, well, we didn't know. We learned about it on social media. Are you kidding me?
Yet they literally talk about Trump every week.
Right.
Every week or every other week, they're talking about something.
That's all they care about.
Yeah, like President Trump did us wrong here. He handled COVID wrong. This is what he's been doing wrong. President Trump will never be a president again. President Trump. It's like, and then all of a sudden, oh, we have no, we didn't. I mean, there are Department of Justice, but we don't know a thing. I mean, isn't that scary that those that put these people in action, which is unconstitutional anyways, but isn't it scary that those that actually enact these people can say, well, we don't know what they're doing. They're independent people. If that's the case, then why add 87,000 IRS agents? If they're independent, why are we so focused on helping the IRS add more agents?
Yeah.
If they're independent agencies, why couldn't they do that themselves? Why couldn't they reduce their own budgets? Why couldn't they? You know what I mean? It's like, this is ridiculous, dude. And you know what it is? It's literally, this is what's so crazy is you become the witch hunt if you go against the system. And I can hear it now. The liberals, there it is. It's a buzzword, witch hunt. You're not the one being raided on. You're not the one being raided on. Dude, how come we didn't hear about the FBI raiding Gibson, manufacturing guitars in Nashville?
Right.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars of guitars worth were taken. Files were taken. Nobody said a thing about it. The FBI, this is what I'm talking about. We're not in defense of Trump here. This is how corrupt the FBI is. And here we are calling out the FBI. No, it's the truth. I'm not calling out the FBI. I'm not telling them, here, come on to my house. I got nothing to hide. I really don't have anything to hide. And whatever I have here, take it. You know, it's fine. Whatever. Want some coffee? I'll put some on for you. You know, but like, it's ridiculous to say that these guys don't know in their agencies what's going on. How do they get reports? How do they, if he doesn't know, and each agency's independent, how come he gets reports from all of them? How come they're able to report in the State of the Union address? How come they're able? This is ridiculous.
And
dude.
the warrant was filed a couple of days before. I correct me if I'm wrong. I think August 5th was when the warrant got filed with the judge, right? You're telling me that a local FBI branch decided, you know what? We're going after President Trump. We're going to get these files, except it was the National Archive that was complaining about these files. If this is what was going on in the whole situation, National Archive was complaining Trump hasn't given us back these files, which shows you it's a DC thing, right? So it comes from DC, go get those files, which means Attorney General Merrick Garland and FBI Director Christopher Wray must have known about it, because if they didn't, man, that is absolutely insane malfeasance on their part.
Malfeasance. And like, if they didn't know about it, who gave the FBI the order?
Well, and that's the whole, one of the big points that everybody's saying about this whole White House denial thing is your top people must have given the order for this, and they're not communicating with you about this. They're leaving you in the dark. No, because the problem is if the Biden administration comes out and says, "Oh yeah, we knew about it," immediately there's no deniability of this is a political hit job.
Okay.
Right? If there's a separation, well, we didn't know, you know, they were acting. Okay, prove it to us. Fire them, because they're acting out of your orders.
That's it. That right there. And what happens when they don't find anything?
Mm-hmm. Oh, couldn't find something. So you busted into a former president's house, broke open his safe, took his documents. We couldn't find anything. And people, of course, on Twitter and wherever are saying, well, he must have committed a crime. That's why you have no understanding about how the justice system works.
And the White House press secretary said, I'm not going to comment on a criminal investigation, she said. A criminal, they already called, this is a criminal investigation. They're saying.
So you didn't know anything about it, but you know it's a criminal investigation?
This is what I'm saying. Like, you can go back yesterday, you can see it. She actually says that twice. I'm not going to comment on a criminal investigation. He's not even a criminal yet. Here, let's take this a step further. Even if he was withholding documents, that doesn't mean anything. What does that mean? What president hasn't withheld documents? I mean, I'm saying it again. Nobody said any of this when Hillary Clinton had her emails and things like that. Nobody said anything about that. Nobody said anything about her ties after she was Secretary of State to different countries. Nobody said anything about this.
They even said, well, we can't charge her because intent.
Which, in response to all this, they have actually started promoting my email merch.
Yes, the
Hillary Clinton
butthurt
herself.
/emails.
She's
Did
now
you see that
promoting merch?
in the map? Hillary Clinton is now producing merch, hats and T-shirts saying "butthurt emails," which I find very funny. The promotional picture for it is a hat that's been photoshopped on like Hillary Clinton from 20 years ago. You couldn't even use a current photo of yourself with the hat. You had to go 20 years ago to better looking, younger Hillary. This is the person who can't even advertise her own merch with a with an updated picture. That's the person you trust. So it's so frustrating to watch this because that whole, oh, he must have committed a crime. Let's go through just a small, tiny list. This is how you know this is a hit job, because what liberals will say is, oh, well, you know, he's a criminal. They need to catch him. He's done so much wrong. Let's go through the list. You want to know how you know it's a hit job? When they're trying everything they can to make something stick. That's a hit job. We've got Russiagate, which lasted, 4 years? Nothing ever came out of that. We had Adam Schiff going, we've got the smoking gun. We're going to bring it out. Where is it, Schiff?
And literally what it did was, and this is truth. This is what's going to happen. Because some of us are ignorant, like me, I'll shoot straight with you guys. It's very hard to understand tax codes. So me doing like our ministries 990s and all these other things, I probably screwed up a few things. I'm sure I did. Because our first early years, we didn't have the money to afford an accountant. So I went online and I watched some YouTube videos. I'm like, I skipped something. Mm-hmm. I know that, right? So then the IRS can come in here and search your house. And you know what they'll say? The IRS is auditing that ministry. Allegedly, they did something wrong. Right. That word will never leave President Trump's name. That's what they're trying to do. Even if they find something, I think you have it in the notes here. Even if they find something, like what's going on here, nothing is preventing him from running for office. What they're trying to do is destroy his base. They're trying to destroy his voting base. That's literally what's happening. If you can put a non-confidence in someone like this, you got him. Mm-hmm. And the press secretary said yesterday, President Biden will run again in 2024. President Biden won't even...
Yeah.
He won't be able to put together a coherent sentence in 2024.
Weekend at Bernie's too.
Good night. What are you going to do? Pump him full of like alien juice or what? Like, dude. God, dog, man. He's senile.
Have you seen the comparison of him speaking 2 different times in one day and he looks completely different? I'm not going the double route, but it looks
No, it's not double. I just think they hop him up.
Him up.
Yeah,
right.
They've got him on something.
Because in one of them, he's like wide-eyed and then the next one.
And to think, they said President Trump was senile, that he was mentally unfit. To think.
Which
no. This is good for us to talk about a little bit, right? Because we never really got a chance to talk about this when he was president. But like when you hear him talk, he's pretty quick on his rebuttals.
Sharp, man.
He's quick. You know, it's like I don't always agree with everything he said. I'll say that, but he was quick and he would come back and he was witty. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's like to say he's mentally unfit because you don't like what he said is completely different than him being fit to actually rebuttal and retort and come back with something. And right?
It doesn't smell the pass the smell test. Smell the pass test. Whoa, that got close.
Smell the what?
Maybe we should
smell them.
Some of that.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I need some of Biden juice.
7:30 in the morning, things come out that shouldn't. He's not in prayer in the morning, folks. He ain't reading the word. He ain't in prayer. He's over here cussing.
I want you to prayerfully consider and press that share button. So
we're gonna have a little swear jar over here for him.
Pass the smell test. When you look at it, they'd say, "Oh, Trump's senile. He's senile. He doesn't know what he's doing." But just looking at the guy, you could tell he was calculating. He was thinking. He was working through stuff before he said it, right? And it was like a millisecond of thinking before he would say it. But thinking was there. Biden, you look at him, he looks lost. He just looks lost. And that's what I mean by like, it's not passing the smell test on this whole thing. Truth. But Trump is careful walking down a wet ramp and they go, see, he's too old for it. Biden falls upstairs and they go, well,
falls off a bike.
It was windy. Falls off a bike. Oh, well,
He does. He fell upstairs.
Yes, he did. And you know what they said? Oh, it's windy. It was windy that day. He can't put it together a coherent sentence. He suffered from stuttering.
I won't use the fall upstairs thing. I've done it before. Right? I have. I'm not making fun of him for that. I've done it.
Okay, here's
it was indoors, but it was windy inside. It was windy inside.
I'll go with you one step on that. You fell once. You didn't fall 3 times in a row.
That's true. Skins up your knees.
Yeah. So Trump, the point I wanted to make on this is you can tell it's a hit job when they can't make something stick, because they had Russiagate, they had impeachment number 1, they had impeachment number 2, they had the whole insurrection January 6th thing going on, they had Trump saying the N-word supposedly, they had Trump insulting a disabled journalist, they had Trump saying white supremacists are good guys. Everything they can, they try to make stick on he's horrible. So now the FBI raids his house. Most of us watching it go, you guys you've lost all credibility at this point. Not a single thing that you have come through has actually shown me that he is the evil Hitler-esque guy that you think he is.
But the dangerous part of that is still that there are so many people believing all these lies and everything that the left is saying about Trump. They're still believing the insurrection of January 6th. They're still believing that Trump is 100% for the white supremacists and the capitalists.
Do you notice that thing a few weeks ago that said, Trump reached over to the driver's?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
It's like he was in the presidential limo. Wait, how would he have done that from the back?
For the listener, limo. It's like a Mini Cooper, right? No,
and then that was quickly kicked out of the media. That was quickly like, oh, that didn't last long.
And I love that they trotted out some former staff member or something saying it. And she was like, oh, I was told by a Secret Service agent that this is what happened. They're like, see, and then people pointed pictures. It's a limo, dude. Like he would have had to climb all the way up the limo and take out a Secret Service agent in order to turn the limo around, because that sounds like something a 78-year-old man would do.
He's Jason Bourne.
That's a good one. He's Jason Bourne.
Somebody said the 3 words he needed to hear to activate.
That's good.
We should get that Jason Bourne meme clip. Start playing that.
Those were the 3 words. Keep America great.
Jason Bourne.
Keep America great. And he just went off. He just went off.
I do want to point out, so this is back towards the end of the notes for you guys. Where is it? Perry. So not only did Trump get raided, it's just come out that the FBI seized Republican Rep. Scott Perry's cell phone while he was traveling with his family.
That's right.
He said, my phone contains info about my legislative and political activities and personal private discussions with my wife, family, constituents, and friends. None of this is government's business, he added. Now, this I found interesting, and I just learned this morning. Perry is a founding member and current chair of the House Freedom Caucus.
Oh, gosh.
Now, the only thought people are speculating about, why would the FBI take this guy's phone? Because he's been a target of the January 6th committee. So is there anybody working in the publicity department at the FBI? Like, is there anybody sitting there going, maybe this wouldn't look so good if we do this the day after we raid Trump's Mar-a-Lago? Or have they jumped the shark on this whole thing that, yeah, we're going for broke. We're going for all of them now.
They really are. And it's creating a narrative, again, of distrust. You know what I mean? So what you're doing is you're literally, what is it? Scraping at straws. You're reaching for straws, right? Instead of actually going for the facts. And I think too, like even with January 6th and all these other things, and they call it insurrection. How come nothing's discussed about how those dudes got in so easy? How come nothing's been discussed about how the doors were opened by the police or the guards there at the front? How come none of that was discussed? How were they able to get on the lawn like that? Where was the police? If this was truly okay, we're trying to block, like we're protecting. Where was the protection?
Yeah.
This looks like that school in Texas right now, Uvalde. It's like we're just told to stand down. No, dude, seriously, nobody's talking about this, and this is what's so crazy. People think you're stupid. I really want you to listen to this. They really think you're stupid. They really do. They're pushing these narratives thinking you're stupid because they're promoting the number one thing. We've been harping on this for years: fear. And the more fear, the more they can control you. So they think you're stupid. They think you can't defend yourself. They think, you know what, if we just keep pushing the narrative, eventually you're going to cave. If you're a person of faith, you can't cave. You can't cave. It doesn't matter what happens. This is why we stand against a lot of the public school system right now. This is why we're standing against government right now. This is why we stand against even some of our local governments and our local constituencies, because they're the ones also going after the rights of man too. They don't understand where rights come from. Dude, can I just be honest here? We put this sponsored ad. I don't know who did it for self-evident. Every single comment on there is from a liberal, right? We're white supremacists. We're Nazis. We're a cult. We're destroying both government and religion by doing this ministry. One of them said that we're white nationalists.
Easy.
No.
He's a white nationalist too.
And it's a lot of comments. It's a lot of comments. And all of them, all of the comments, there's not one from like the right or from a conservative or from a Christian. I don't care. But all of these comments are coming out as if to say, like, they're telling us, you know, this is wrong. This is wrong. This, you know, you guys are bad. You white nationalists. I mean, are they seriously considering that we're actually going to look at those and go, oh, you know what? You're right.
You're right.
I'm a white nationalist.
Yeah.
Dude, they literally do this to demoralize you because they know that in man, he does not want to be spoken against. And this is what's happening with President Trump. This is what's happening with that dude that they got their cell phone from. This is what's happening to most Americans who are conservative, who are Christian, right? Who's next? I mean, what are they going to do with Sabatini when he gets up there, dude? That dude is outspoken. He don't hold back.
Yeah.
Look at Lori Boebert right now. She's coming out on some things right now. They've been trying to target people for years.
And all of the stuff going after Majority Taylor Greene, you know, like,
oh, dude, she yeah,
slamming
her. Dude, yeah, slamming her. The Night Show talk hosts are slamming her right now,
yeah.
right? Because they're all about comedy, not a political agenda. They're about comedy. You know what I mean? And so it's up to you now to say, look, how well versed am I in the Constitution, in local governments, in our agencies, and what should be allowed and should not be allowed? How well versed are you to stand against it? I think this is why we're voting for people for school boards. I think that's why we want people to come on our show. I think that's why, you know, it's not even the show. We're going out and preaching too. We're traveling this weekend to Georgia for a couple of days and going out and doing some things there. And we're doing our best to like combat all this, but still we need a local presence. And dude, this is a vision we have for self-evident. I want to be able to have a team of people locally where we can go to these school board meetings. We can go to these town council meetings and county council meetings and represent constitutional values in these places as a united front. Because if we keep going individually, people are going to have their own agenda. We need to present a strong front as citizens right now for our local governments. And, you know, I don't want to do anything new. I don't think we need to do that because there's a lot of groups that are doing some really amazing things. And you guys should go check those guys out. I think in Texas, they have one of the best organizations I've ever seen is True Texas Project. You got to get involved with True Texas Project. What they've created is so incredible. Constitution boot camps, teaching you how to do being a citizen advocate, local governments. I mean, what they're doing over there is incredible. I think it's
to see that in Florida.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic what they're doing there. And what's cool is they're not like this group that's just another Tea Party.
Yeah.
They're actually doers. They're motivated. They don't like complainers. They want doers.
And I've told them whenever I've spoken there that I love their group because they are actually active in all of it and they know what they're talking about. They're actually active in their local races. They know who's running. They know what's going on. They know the issues that they have to go after, and they're actually going after those issues.
Dude, they're even that. I think it was that last True Texas that you and I had gone to, Mike. Like they were even challenging a court case too.
Yeah, that's right. They had brought a lawsuit over a local issue. I don't remember what it was, but they were giving updates about it. Hey, this is what's going on so far. This is the deal with that. And it's so important. And that's why I tell them I love speaking to them because it's like, you guys actually know and understand or are doing something. Because we go to some groups where they just want to hear somebody tell them what they already know.
Well, no, or complain.
Or
they just want to go there and complain and piss and moan about things that are happening. Which again, shout out to TTP, shout out to Melissa. Or I'm sorry, Melissa. Julie McCarthy. Shout out to Chris Betts. Shout out to all these guys, Fran Rob, all these guys that are doing the stuff. Shout out to those guys. But also here, and again, that's a vision of ours that we have here for Self-Evident, is to really get involved, not just nationally, but locally. We have to fight both fronts. Mm-hmm. We have to reduce the size of government. RJ Posey just commented on it. Get government out of schools, healthcare, and retirement. He's right. How do we do that? And it's literally, it's coming to a point where people are like, is this the next Civil War? I don't want that to happen. But it's almost like they're pushing you, so be careful your response. Be careful you're not acting out in the flesh. Go with the Spirit of God and say what the Lord's going to do, right? And so because God can do more with 5 words than 10,000. And we're praying for that. Lord, we need that anointing, Lord, to break the yokes. We need that anointing to go up there and not just speak, but if we have to get active, get active. I'm talking about getting involved in, like I said, school boards and county councils and commissions and things. If that's our job, that's our job. If we have to hold the line, fine, hold the line. If that's what you're calling us to do, we'll do it. And I pray we're all like that. That we're not just creating excuses and saying, well, see, there's nothing we can do. Every time we take a step forward, something else can bring. So what? Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Keep charging. Don't stop now. You've come this far. What was the point of you being shown all this knowledge about the Constitution, only for you to say, screw it, it's not going to change anyway? Is that the point? Or was the point to say, no, we're all citizen advocates here. We need to be involved in the fight?
And I think this is where this type of event, and I know for me, it was kind of like, that's it. Something has snapped. Something has snapped and a lot of people could point to other events, but I think this is one of those where you have now gone after, in a naked attempt to grab power, you've gone after the opposition. I don't care what you say, Biden's administration, who Biden is going to be running for the upcoming election, has now gone after his competition, a former president. It's naked now. And so something has snapped in the whole discussion. And until now, I think there was some type of veil, and we as conservatives were like, nah, there was no veil, but it's just apparent now. And so now the game changes. You're in active battle. We're not calling for armed revolution. We are not calling for that. What we're saying is it's time for you to understand they're not your friends. They are not your friends. They're not somebody who's going to stand by you and go, okay, yeah, you're right. I need to back off.
And at this point, they're not reasonable.
They're not reasonable. And when you have an unreasonable enemy, the only thing you can do is to defeat them. And so now it becomes, if you want to retain any shred of this country, you have to understand you cannot sit by anymore. You cannot sit on your couch because it has come within your walls. We saw it through COVID. We saw the church so often say, we got to do what the government says. They came in your walls and shut your doors for you.
That's right.
That should have been your sign right there. But plenty of people within the church said, we just got to do what the government we have to submit to government. Submit all the way to gulags? Is that where it ends? Is that where you find, once you're in the walls, you go, oh yeah, let's fight?
And we can't, guys, you got to be honest with yourselves. You can't depend on Republicans to do it.
No.
I'm depending on the citizenry to do it. And if they have to run as Republicans, okay, we're good with that. But we've gotten here because of both the lack of the integrity of the Republican Party and the offense of the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You want to put it on somebody's shoulders? Not all of it, but obviously bears a brunt of the responsibility. Mitch McConnell. How has that guy continued to get elected year after year after year after year after year? Decades that man has been in office. Oh, by the way, when he was in Kentucky and they asked him about, I'm here for the flood. I'm here for flood recovery. And then when he finally said something about it, the country deserves a thorough and immediate explanation of what led to the events of Monday. Attorney General Garland and the Department of Justice should already have provided answers to the American people and must do so immediately. Oh, you're really passionate about this. You really care.
Yeah. And it's funny, though. the 4 years that it was Republican control, or 2 years at least, that was Republican controlled Congress, Senate, presidency, not one bill was passed to ensure a Second Amendment. Not one bill was passed to make sure that life begins at conception. Not one bill was passed to make sure government will not grow in scope. None of that stuff. We put it all on Trump because you're cowardly. They were cowardly.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just shoot straight, right? All of a sudden they go in here, let's take away more guns. The Democrats always get what they want.
Sooner or later, because McConnell did, again, I don't remember what bill it was, but McConnell, it was a bipartisan thing. It might have even been a gun control thing. Gives it to him because he had Chuck Schumer's word that, well, we won't do the reconciliation bill stuff. Well, they told us they weren't going to. What did they do? As soon as they stepped out on the front steps of signing over that bill, that McConnell bipartisan said, yeah, we'll give you this as long as you give you. Schumer goes, yeah, we're going to ram through the reconciliation bill stuff. You're on the same team, bro. You're on the same team. Stop voting for these people. Stop saying, well, I have to vote for the winner. That's as good as saying, I want the loser to win.
Well, I mean, and then, okay, that takes us a whole different course. I think that's where what's the next 4 months look like for us? Well, no, 3 months. As people, like in August here, we got some really big races. Mm-hmm. Who make sure your local candidates are people you know and you trust. You vet them, ask them questions. Where do they stand constitutionally? Where do they stand according to their town and council or county charters? Where do they stand? You know what I mean? School boards. Make sure you guys are finding out who locally you have. And the first thing I can hear is, well, I don't even know who they are. Literally go online and look up who's running for candidacy and get involved in some local groups. Go to groups that you don't even agree with and say, what are you running for? Where does that line up with my rights? Like, where did you get the authority to do this? Like, start asking questions. Mm-hmm. Where did you get the authority to do these things? Who said that public schools needed to teach my kids about sex ed? Who said that? I mean, I didn't give them permission to do that. My kids don't go to public school, by the way. But I'm just saying, when I was growing up, all of a sudden it was just I remember my mom and dad were so angry about sex ed, they kept me from those classes. I literally felt like a loser. I was sitting outside eating a banana. I remember one time in particular, I'm sitting outside the classroom eating a banana, just sitting outside because everyone else is watching. People put a condom on a banana.
Yeah,
the teachers, and I'm over here eating a banana. I'm like, oh, this is gross. You know what I mean? Seriously, but like that's what happened. But my parents kept me from it because they're like, that's not their job. I'll teach you that. They never did.
You figured it out.
Yeah, I figured it out. Yeah. Anatomy. Gosh, that went weird. So here we are, guys. We're at 8:10. Mike and Massey have a lot to do. You have a lot to do. We are acknowledging the fight that you have. We're acknowledging your job. We're acknowledging your family. We're acknowledging your career. We're acknowledging your church, things. We're acknowledging your civic duty, maybe your extracurricular activities. We're acknowledging all that. But even we have to take a step back and say, Lord, what are you calling me to do in these next few seasons? What am I going to have to put down in order to make our nation not only good, better, right, but to restore it back to its republic? And I think we're doing that. I think we're seeing a lot of that happen. But what are you going to do? Like, what is it God's calling you to do? And I've seen some people now get courage and like really start their own like little Facebook things, and that's really cool. And I think that's important. That's huge. What are you called to do? Like, what is God calling us to do individually? If it's government, great. If not, then support those who will stand for your values. I think that's the most important thing. If you can't do it, which most people say they can't, well, then go support the ones who are literally taking off their work, their time, their resources, their fun, their weekends on boats to save the nation, to save their county, to save their school board, the school system, to save their town. Support those guys. Put your money behind them so we can go win this thing. Because that's what it's going to take. It's like, I know not everybody can get involved. I get it. The economy needs to run. A lot of us need to work. Some of us own businesses. Completely understand. But we can all put our oar in the water. In some way, shape, or form. Like, not all are the eye, the Bible says. Not all are the hand or the foot. But we're the body. All the joints fit together. We're the body, right? What does that look like for our nation, for our city, for our state? You know what I mean? Like, if you're afraid about what's happening in your state, well, then go find a governor you can get behind and its legislature and start promoting that. and you can't care about what comes against you. At this point, they're gonna come against you for your silence.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna get attacked either way. Either you stand for something or you don't. You will get attacked either way.
And the war has started. The
war.
spiritual war has started,
dude.
right?
Yeah.
You can't avoid it anymore. You can't get around it. And so at some point, it's like, okay, either sit and get run over, or you might as well stand and fight. And that fight for you may look like prayer. It may look like interceding for people. It may look like funding things. It may look like doing your own civic duty. But there's something you can do. So I'm Mike. This is Massey. Go ahead, leave your comments. One thing that I wanted to encourage you guys to do, be sure to share, review, comment, right? The least you can do. The attack comes, but show your support, because that gets it out to other people.
I was told
you want to coalesce the army, right?
Yeah, I was told too, if you search our name in Facebook and then watch the show, the numbers start to move forward. I don't know how that all works. I don't really care necessarily. I do care about people sharing it, though, because we're bringing a perspective biblically and constitutionally that most won't. We're not just Republicans that are pissed. We're not just conservatives that are pissed. We're not just Christians that are pissed. No, we really do see, Lord, you can move on our behalf. And, we're not a prophetic type ministry. I believe we have a prophetic bent, but we're not like prophetic as far as like trying to give a word to people. That's not what we're doing right now. What we're doing is, here's sound wisdom and truth. Now walk in it. Sound wisdom, sound truth, sound discernment. Here's what you got to walk in, right? Instead of just trying to lead you to walk, why don't you just take it for yourself and you walk it out? That's our mission.
So, guys, do all that. Let us know if you have any questions. Let us know if there's a podcast topic that you want us to cover. We've got a couple of suggestions that we've got to go through and figure out when we're going to do those. So
I'm excited.
Until Friday, we love you guys.
We have a special guest this Friday, guys.
Oh yeah, that's right. You know better than I do.
Well, her name's is it Jocelyn? It's
Joey Lynn.
Joey Lynn. I'm sorry, Jocelyn. So Joey Lynn Massaros, these guys were the ones that when Biden was on his bus, they were campaigning. These guys were in a truck that was next to the Biden bus flying Trump flags. And all of a sudden now Biden's administration and their lawyers came out and sued these guys for an old law that was from the Ku Klux Klan law. It was 1800s for violation of their privacy, basically. And now they're coming against this couple, this family. And it's an amazing story, because she's like, it's an attack on free speech. She goes, we didn't do anything. We didn't run them off the road. And she goes, they edited and doctored all the video showing us running people off when it wasn't even them. Stuff like that was crazy. So you guys want to tune in for that. I know you're going to be doing it. I'm hoping I can chime in from Georgia. I'm not sure yet, but because I'll be in Georgia and Mike will be here doing this thing. But man, tune into that. It's exciting. We want you to support them financially, because they're going through a battle financially that's tough to go against this administration and their lawyers, and I want to get behind them. So we love their mission. We love who they are. We love what they do. Her husband's amazing. So you're going to want to tune in for that.
Okay, guys, tune in Friday. Love you guys. Have a great day.